Hello, my audience. Hang on. Gotta drink some water. My voice sounds dry. Hi, my audience. My voice sounds much faster drinks that water. Hey, Dan. Can you pull this fight I do over video? Okay. So, I remember what I was going to talk about. I'm going to review episode 1 of season 1 of Spider-Man Noir. The black and white version of the episode. Now I'll give you my brief thoughts on what I've seen in the color version of episode 1. And I'm only going to enjoy to talk about the black and white episode of same episode. Personally, I like the black and white episode more than the colored version of the episode 1. I think the visuals are more stunning and pop more, and they look more believable when the black and white episode, with the episodes in black, with episode 1 being in black and white versus the color version of the episode. And I can take it more serious with it being in black and white than in color, especially with the unique up-close weird camera angles and editing styles the show goes for within episode 1. And also the effects of the practical and visual CGI effects mixed together look better in the black and white version versus the color version. And the action shots and in the regular shots versus people talking in a room. So, in episode 1 of Spider-Man Noir, episode 1, he only wears the costume in the opening scene, but he doesn't wear the costume ever again in the episode. He just wears civilian clothing as Ben Reilly, and that's a little different than that's one difference from the source material this is based on. Now I'll admit I never read Spider-Man Noir. It's one of those comic runs I never got a hand on a single, but I was aware of the character because I heard people talk about him, and I played the Spider-Man video games with him in it, called Shattered Dimensions. And I saw him in the Spider-Verse movie of the first one, where Nicolas Cage voiced the character, and that one was in the source material it's based on, like what's the source material? Being in black and white comic book panels. So that's why I like the black and white episode more than the color episode. Because it's more of a comic book lookish, visual stunning, and it feels more like fan service in the black and white version than the color version. So it felt like this movie was meant to this episode of episode 1 of Spider-Man Noir, I felt like it was like one of those things that were meant to be in black and white. And I found out that it was originally shot for black and white. They just added the color version for a more broader audience who weren't familiar with the source material. And you know what? Other than changing his civilian name to Ben Reilly instead of Peter Parker from Spider-Man Noir comics, his name's Peter Parker. And even I haven't I just know that because that's what everyone brings from what I hear. Even though I haven't read Spider-Man Noir comics of a single issue, I just know about the character, and I know his civilian name is actually named Peter Parker. And but other than changing his first and last legal name for the show to Ben Reilly. Which, in case you know, that's kind of a nod to the Clone Saga, original Clone Saga from 616, with the Amazing Spider-Man character, finding out that the clone's name is Ben Reilly. part of the Clone Saga original one. So it's kind of like, so that's who Ben Riley normally is. He's normally Peter's clone from the Clone Saga. Yeah, I know originally it was Peter that was the clone in the first few issues, but then it was reversed to that, saying that Ben Riley's been the clone all along. So they had a, because they felt bad for, because for some reason that what happened in the Clone Saga as it unfolded. It was just twists and turns. So, but yeah, it is interesting and kind of confusing, both. Because they, instead of using Peter Parker's name, they use Ben Riley's name. And other than a few other changes in here and there, it takes the source material and the character still strangely serious. So it makes me wonder. I feel like I would have believed the movie either the plot either way if they had Peter Parker or Ben Riley. It works too for me. Anyway, I want to say this, add on to that this is my favorite Nicolas Cage thing he's done, is episode 1 of Spider-Man Season 1 Noir. On big screen or small screen, whatever anything he's done, for small or big role. This is my favorite role he's ever done, and it was his acting career. So I like how the violence are mature and dark. It was themes and topics and characters and developing them. And the violence feels very aggressive and real when it's in black and white episode, the series. I haven't seen the whole episode. I've only seen half of the episode in color, and this looks corny in color. But in black and white, I can take it serious. And it feels real, more real that way, and harder with the violence that hits you. And also the drama's better, and the stories and the characters I feel like more real in every way, in that comic book fashion magic, with the black and white episode versus the color episode of episode 1. Episode 1 with the color version of the episode makes it almost looks like the show's visually campy with the color episode. But for black and white, it actually looks pretty unique and real and serious and dark. Especially how these characters design in the black and white episode, in the black and white within the episode 1. And I like the reimagining of the Sandman character. And that Spider-Man wins in a fight with the Sandman when he decides to fight back and uses powers. And his civilian clothes he's wearing, Ben Riley is. Also, Ben Riley is a bit of an alcoholic, heavy drinker, and smoker, as it turns out in episode 1 of shown to be. And not being the best top tier shape of his life. Due to the alcohol and drinking and smoking a lot. And losing the love of his life, mysteriously unexplained in the episode of episode 1. But we see what she looks like and how happy he was. Then we see little flashes back to his past of seeing his wife drown in a car. But, so yeah. So, her name was Ruby, and that's who Nicolas Cage character Ben Riley still fell for, and that he's kind of shut everyone down and stopping the hero Spider-Man, and put away his costumes and stop using his organic web shooters. Yes, this one has organic web shooters instead of mechanical web shooters. Now I realize I haven't read the comics of Noir Spider-Man, but I wonder, does he have mechanical web shooters or organic web shooters in the comics with his run on Spider-Man Noir? I don't know, because I haven't read the comics of Spider-Man Noir. But I know it's supposed to be a more serious, like a Batman vigilante figure that's more brooding and dark, with the camp comic accounts being painted in black and white. The old that's how much I know about Black in the Spider-Man Noir, the character from source material. But yeah, this makes me wanna check out the source material even more now. And that's why I want to give episode 1 of Spider-Man Noir, season 1, with Nicholas starring Cage, a 10 out of 10 black and white episode of episode 1. This was an awesome episode. I honestly recommend this episode. I really enjoyed this episode, Spider-Man Noir, episode 1, season 1. That's all. Goodbye. Subscribe. Like this video. Subscribe to my content. I'm Jake Allen Graham, and goodbye.